Hey trainers, it's me, Professor Hazel, and welcome to another video. So, do you guys remember when Tera types existed before Tera types existed? Okay, let me explain. The year is 2005. You eat a delicious morning breakfast, slip on your sneakers, don a considerably light backpack, slide your Game Boy Advance in the front pocket, and wave your mom goodbye. Then, it's off to school. The leaves are rustling, the sun is veiled by pillowy clouds, and a nice breeze blows past as you enter the school gates. Everyone is dressed to the nines, showing off their handmade costumes. A crow calls. It's Halloween day, and on this Halloween day, you stop by a convenience store on your way home to discover something brand new on the shelves. Your favorite TCG just got an update. Pokémon EX Delta Species released on Monday, October 31st, 2005. And what could be spookier than that? The brand new gimmick. But Pokémon you find have different typings than their original counterparts. But why? It's quite fascinating. There exists a region in Pokémon separate from the games and anime. A region only found in the TCG called the Holon Region. Not much is known about this mysterious place, but we do know it is a small island within Mirage Forest that houses powerful technology. People surmise it's close to Hoenn due to the species of Pokémon found in its proximity. Mirage Forest is a location within the Ruby and Sapphire games reachable by either Latios or Latios. The point of these is that it is very hidden and very difficult to travel to and from. Honestly, in the Gen 3 games, this was by far my favorite mechanic. It just added more exploration to the mix. Knowing that there's a secret region hidden within there is so fascinating to me. Let me know if you think they'll expand on this in future titles. If they make a remake of Ruby and Sapphire, do you think they'll include Holon? Within the Holon region, there is an emphasis on science and the strange occurrences due to the experimentation there. The Holon Tower is the main research facility, and that's where our story starts. The scientists' main focus is on Mew and any new rare species of Pokémon. There were devastating consequences for the Pokémon near Holon Tower. Due to experiments gone awry, the Pokémon there were imbued and ultimately innately changed due to electromagnetic radiation. I'm not kidding. This caused their typical typings to change. Speaking of which, electromagnetic radiation can be harmful to humans in large amounts as well. It does, in fact, damage DNA and cells. I would love to know what happened to the scientists. For examples of typing change, Flygon could be Psychic type, Gardevoir, Mewtwo could be Fire type. This doesn't seem limited to one type change either. For example, Dragonite could now either be Electric or Grass type. Everything shifted around, and most definitely Pokemon DNA was damaged, and, radically changed. It doesn't appear much as visually different, however, so their typings changed, but the overall design did not. How curious. The Delta Species gimmick debuted in EX Delta Species, but also appeared in these sets: Holon Phantoms, Crystal Guardians, and Dragon Frontiers. We do not actually know if the Delta Species change is permanent or the long-term effects on these Delta Species Pokemon. The curious thing is that it seems they would either be so rare within the Pokemon universe so as to not dominate and bleed over into the rest of the world, or that they are simply unable to pass on their altered DNA to offspring. Maybe there were only a couple hundred or 1,000 Pokemon affected and electromagnetic radiation died down to normal levels. Due to the Holon region widely being unrecognized, it is possible that the TCG universe is separate from the anime or games entirely. Or maybe they all perished. What we do have evidence of is that the Pokemon cards do exist within the anime. However, it was seen in one episode only, so the scope is pretty limited. Now for the comparison and some light theory crafting. How does this associate with Tarastalizing? The concept of Tarastalization came with the introduction of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet in 2022. Pokemon are now able to change their typing by turning crystalline, albeit temporarily. All we know then is that Pokemon could undergo something called Tarastalization within the Paldea region due to energy? What kind of energy? No one really knows. When the DLC dropped, we got new lore. Terapagos is the poster Pokemon for the DLC. It is the reason for the Terastal phenomenon. It lived thousands of years in the past and crystallized itself in order to survive. Terapagos is able to absorb energy and use that energy to power itself up or save itself. It has so much power that it can alter timelines and bring things from the past to the present. And this, clearly, has brought us to a time where Pokemon can also harness this power utilizing an item called a Tera orb. So, the main point of this is, Pokemon are able to change their typing just like the Delta species Pokemon from 2005, a whole 17 years later. This time, it just includes really stupid hats. We know for sure that this change is temporary, and it radically alters Pokemon designs while they are undergoing the transformation. The neat thing is when it comes to battling. Terastallized Pokemon change their defensive typing, so they aren't as weak to the types that they were previously. With Delta species Pokemon though, they maintain their original weaknesses. This electric type Gyarados is weak to electric type. This alone leads me to believe that they are definitely different phenomena. But going back to terrestrial energy, now again, what kind of energy is this? I did some research, and it does appear that electromagnetic radiation can also alter the crystalline structure in some things, namely liquids. Crystals, terastallizing, you get my gist. Well, I mean, you know, blood is a liquid, so is it far-fetched? And while crystals don't necessarily emit electromagnetic radiation in themselves, they are able to with something called the piezoelectric effect. When the mechanical stress is placed on these crystals, they can gain an electric charge. Quartz is a commonly utilized crystal for an oscillator and electric circuit filter. For a Pokemon visual equivalent, look at Chargestone Cave from Pokemon Black and White. So, via this effect, they can basically be conduits for electromagnetic radiation. Even if they don't have the innate power themselves, it could very well be the case that the mysterious energy mentioned could be a form of electromagnetic energy, but we just don't know for sure. And I'm not that kind of professor. Truthfully, while I personally believe they could possibly stem from the same type of energy, they are definitely different phenomena. One was a scientific accident, and the other seems more like a magical transfer of energy sources to do different things. I haven't heard others thinking otherwise, or really any theories on this, but let me know your thoughts and comments below. This video was just a way for me to dive further into the TCG's Delta species history and gain more insight into the Pokemon gimmicks of the universe. Want me to cover another topic? Let me know. Thanks for listening, trainers, and keep on training.